So brand new ship, brand new refinery with cheaper costs, cheaper expenses. But does it really meet up with the Tier 9 Vidar? Well, a lot of questions to be answered. I'm Admiral Pegasus, and this is Star Trek Fleet Command. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, as you can see right here, yes, it is the Tailos. What a beast this thing actually is, with all these new spikes and everything. But I'm finding it, well, a little bit underwhelming when it comes to actual combat. Now, we did on our live stream a couple of crew tests and everything, but as well, we didn't actually look properly into the exocoms. We did notice that the exocoms don't work on the Tailos. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a comparison, and we're going to do a comparison when it comes to the T9. Now, Vidar. Now, I will clearly state I only have two warp nacelles. Obviously, I used a lot on the live stream, and then of course we've just had the Cerritos event on Wednesday. So, unfortunately, I'm running very, very short at the minute. But that comparison will come near the end of the video. But what we need to be doing is looking at this beauty. Yes, the Tailos. Now, mine is currently Tier 2, and there's not an awful lot I can do about it because of the actual costs. If we actually take a look at the ship itself, and we'll start off with the railgun over here. As you can see, 70,000 charged nanoprobes just to upgrade that one gun. And then obviously the other railgun is again 70,000 again. And that one is, the phaser array is actually only just under 52,000. So a very expensive when it comes to the charged nanoprobes. Now, what we're going to do is we'll jump over to ftsc.space, where we are going to look at the cost, and we are going to look at the firing pattern for the Tailos as well, and we're also going to look at a couple of other things as well. So let's jump over and let's have a look. Okay, so here we are with the Tailos. As you can see, it's clearly a 12 tier ship, and you need 100 blueprints, which you can get completely free just by doing They Have Adapted Part 1 and Part 2. Now, obviously, for those of you who actually started the arc, you'd have got Part 1 on opening day, and then the following Tuesday, you got Part 2. It does say 34 days, 34 and a half days to build, but that is bearing in mind on your research as well. If I remember correctly, I was down to 9 days when we built this on live stream. Obviously, do check out the live stream as well, because we did actually devote nearly 2 hours to this thing on the day. So it's going to cost you 24 million titanium to build, and 2 million dilithium, and also some common gas and crystal. Yes, this is a gas and crystal ship. It starts off with G3 and it will finish off in G5. It will require shipyard 35 to build as well, and also to proc those missions you will need a tier 9 Vidar. No questions, a tier 9 Vidar, just to proc the missions. You do not need to scrap it. In fact, there is no way to actually scrap the original Vidar, so don't even try. So just a heads up. Now, as you can see, full range here, and we're going to go through. So in total, it's going to cost you 3.4 trillion titanium to build. Now, this ship is level locked. Yeah, so we will. I will put that up on the screen. Because there's your level locks. Obviously, I can't see them at the minute. They're added in editing. So take a great look. I know for a fact at least I can go to a tier 5, me being at Ops 42. Currently going to 43, but unfortunately, that's still between 42 and 44. So tier 5 is going to be the best I can reach. But when we actually look at the costs of this ship, it's pretty damn cheap. Now, as you can see, interceptor parts for 3 stars, 450. Total G4 common parts is only 60,000, and obviously the G5 is just under 27,000. But when you actually start looking at the uncommon side of things, it's only 23,000 G4 and 11,000 G5 uncommon parts. That's cheap as chips. This ship is cheap as chips to bloody upgrade. And I'm not going to lie to you now, right? I've got a funny feeling the G5 material, G5 parts and materials and that all will start to go from tier 9 to tier 10. We'll confirm that in just a minute. But I have enough materials and parts to send this thing to tier 9. But obviously with level locks, I can't get there. So which means I can get this built out and straight out the gate quite high, quite rapidly. But what is letting me down, and if we scroll a lot further down, just there, right next to me, charged nanoprobes, 32.6 million. Yes, 32.6 million charged nanoprobes to upgrade this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take, we'll cut the range off. And here we go. So we're going to start going in. So this is the cost I'm currently looking at of going from tier 2 to tier 3. 469,000 nanoprobes I'm going to need. Woo, quite a lot. But the materials, it's cheaper ships and it's all G3 at current. So when does it hit G4? Well, there you go. Going from tier 3 to tier 4. That's when it's actually going to hit, and obviously 700,000 nanoprobes. Whoo, squeaky bum time. It's starting to get a bit pricey in those charged nanoprobes. And then obviously if we go up to tier 5, it's where I can take it in the minute. Here we go. 4.5 billion titanium just to start off, and 1.3 million, that's 1.13 million charged nanoprobes. So that's an awful lot. Now, this is going to become a little bit problematic when it comes to the refinery, and we'll show you that in just a little bit further down the video. And what I want to do is we're going to take this, and we looked at the cost of the railguns in game of going up. There you go, 70,000 charged nanoprobes. So I'm not actually got any benefits with it, because I think there was a research to reduce. Also, no, that was a Franklin. That was a Franklin. So, yeah, it is what it is. Now, the costs are all right, but what we're going to do is, like I said, it is cheap as chips, but just bearing in mind, those charged nanoprobes are the thing that's going to slow you down with this thing. And if I remember correctly, it was the same with the original Vidar as well. It was the charged nanoprobes. Now, here is the firing pattern for it. As you can see, you've got the energy weapon, it's phaser turret, and it's also got 2 types of rail guns, this one. Now, the first rail gun will miss the first round and open fire from the second, and it will just fire continuously every single round. It is a kinetic weapon, which is unusual. Kinetic weapon firing every single round, but hey-ho. Now, the main kinetic weapon is the second one, and as you can see, it starts firing from round 3, and it'll be every 3rd round. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And that's all the way through. So, literally, not a bad firing pattern. Depends on how much you can fire, bring to bear on it. Now, the crew slots. This is also the biggest one. As you can see, taking it up to tier 12 will give you, well, up to level tier 11, and giving you the 55 levels, you've got 7 slots available. Pretty much the same as the Vidar, 7 slots gives you officers. And obviously, here's your percentages as well. And to make it most efficient, you're going to need to stack the stats below deck to make sure, as well, with the below deck of 45,000 on each of the 3 bonuses: attack, defense, health, and that's a 500% bonus. Woo, very, very squeaky bum. That can be Very efficient as well, very powerful. Now, what I want to also have a quick look at is the warp ranges of the ship. So, as you can see, it starts off at warp range 45, and we're going to increase by a 5, a 10, a 20, a 10, a 5, a 5, and then we're going to go 5s by the looks of this. Oh, and then we go up to 10, 20, 10. But it tops out range 150. Now, I believe that, if I remember correctly, there is a piece of research that will help with that. And we're going to look at that in just a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump back into the game, and we are going to look at the research that comes with this thing. Okay, so here we are in the research. It's in the Starships tree. Yes, that's where you need to be. Now, what we're going to be looking at is the various types of researches that we have got. The first one, which you will be able to access, is this one, which is increasing the loot drops from the Solar Armadas. It's going to cost you charged nanoprobes, so just bear that in mind, because as well, that also causes a bit of a problem when it comes to how much charged nanoprobes you can actually source. So this piece of research is one that you will gain when you unlock the Tailos. Yes, you'll be given its cost, the special particles it comes with to actually access it, and it's going to give you the bonus when it comes to the expansion cubes, which the Tailos has been brought in to fight. Now, we will quickly touch on the expansion cubes in just a moment, once we've obviously looked through the research. Inert nanoprobes. This is a prime. Sadly, is in the in-app store, so if you like to spend some money, yes, you will have to go there to get the the particle for it, the prime particle for it, and obviously you're going to need 1,000 of them. And what it obviously does is increase the drop of nanoprobes from the Borg probes when using the Tailos. So basically, this is going to be the buff that you're going to need to give you that little bit extra when it comes to getting these nanoprobes, but obviously is aimed purely at the Tailos. The original Vidar is not affected by it. It's only a 75% boost, so don't go expecting an awful lot. But then again, if we said the probes were dropping 10,000, that's 7,500 extra nanoprobes on top. So it could look a little bit beneficial on the outside, but again, that's something you'd have to learn when you went and bought it and give it a shot. Obviously, I won't be, because I can't afford it. But anyway, Prime Vidar cargo. Obviously, this is going to be increasing the size of your cargo bay for your original Vidar. To be perfectly honest, I would still say that this is a pretty damn good thing for an early Tailos player. If you got the Tailos and it's down at a certain level, I would still highly recommend this to increase your cargo. Where's the next one? Charged nanoprobes. Again, as you can see, it requires a G6 uncommon crystal, 2,000 of, and basically it's going to double the refine of your charged nanoprobes. Now, when are you going to be able to acquire this? Free to play? You're probably looking when you're in the G5 region, in all honesty. If there is a cat in hell's chance of you being able to get it, source it a little bit earlier, you can. Other than that, for free-to-play players, you're going to have to wait. Those of you who do like to spend some money, of course, it's going to be in your in-app store. Go get the pack. Again, it's no-brainer, this one. Get it. Trust me. If you've got the $100 to spare, I'd get it. Now, Nanoprobe Hunter, as far as I'm aware, is actually working with the Tailos as well as the original Vidar. I haven't seen much of a change. Looks like I'm still getting that 50% bonus. So, again, if you got that maxed out, definitely a good one. Active nanoprobes, again, that is working with the Tailos, but we will look into that a little bit more when we look into the refinery. Also, what range? As I said, it tops out 150. Well, this is going to be the one you're going to need when you get to R&D 44 to actually access higher warp ranges. Now, it starts off at 50, an increase of 15. So basically, warp 44 would be a tier 6. So that's probably, what range? I can't remember what that was, but you're adding 15 onto the top of it. And then obviously 8 levels, and it adds an extra 325 onto that 150. I have a funny feeling this will be level locked, or at least linked to the tier of your Tailos. So 150 plus 325, 475. That's a pretty high level. That's pretty high. So yeah, one to get when you actually reach there. Now that's all the research that there is. So don't expect any more. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the refinery. Now, I am going to say the refinery is probably going to be the best part of this. For early on players, we don't need to worry about the solar exchanges, because that's not anything to do with. This is where we're looking. Now, if you actually look at the top of the box, as you can see, we have a Vidar Tailos T2. These are locked to the tier of your Tailos. So for me, what I'm going to be getting in this chest is pretty pathetic, because obviously I'm Ops 42. I need to get this up to at least tier 4, tier 5 for it to be of some sort of benefit. But for those of you, obviously, who've just got it, again, it's definitely going to be worth some looking into. Now, charged nanoprobes. You can see the cost right here for 1 and 2 chests, and how much you're getting per chest. So, guaranteed 24,000 or 48,000 for using the 3 chests. Now, here's a screenshot provided by one of my teammates who actually doesn't have the Tailos yet. He didn't realise the part 2 had dropped at the time, but he was kind enough to provide me the screenshots. So a big shout out to Iron Saviour for this one, with the original cost. Now, when you do get the Tailos, that screenshot, that refinery disappears. It's gone. That's it. So which means you no longer have to go out and get 1 million inert nanoprobes just to do it, which is a godsend, because 552,000 is a hell of a lot better target to aim for. And to be perfectly frank, with a tier 9 Vidar, that is perfectly doable. It is perfectly doable with alarm below deck. So definitely worth going for. Yeah. And then moving on to the active nanoprobes again. Now you see I've got Prime next to it because I have that Prime. Again, 110,000, and the amount that of active nanoprobes you're getting has increased. Also, because now we've got more Borg in the game. I think we've got about 15 Borg officers now. I think we're at 15 Borg officers. Tell me I'm wrong. If you can tell me that I'm wrong, drop it in the comment section down below, because I know you're going to love to prove me wrong. But off the top of my head, as far as I'm aware, it's about 15 we're on now. So, but anyway, 2 chests, 276,000. Again, it's still value for money, because you are really going to need these. But again, I haven't got the original screenshot, unfortunately. I didn't ask for that one. But again, it's still a massive, massive improvement. Now, you can see now as well, I've got 2 chests. Yay! I've got 2 chests that I can go for. One is aimed at the tier 9 Vidar, which again is still 28,000 or 29,000 for 100 solo directives. Now, it's still worth going after if you really want to, but this is where things become problematic for those with a low level Tailos. Now, if you just caught it, charge nanoprobes, I'm at 4,000. So what I'm going to do here on video is I'm going to claim this. So I've got 48,000 there, so which means I have 52,000 in the bucket. We'll get me active nanoprobes as well, because we've got the inerts. But we go in here, 28,000, right? So that's okay. But if we move over to the Tailos version, it's 32,000. So it's adding an extra 3,200. But this is where the value is, and this chest is actually far more valuable. You're getting a 34% increase on directives. A 34% increase for just an extra 3,200. Now, that, if I'm perfectly honest, the increase is, let me just have a quick math, is approximately 1/9. The increase is roughly 1/9, maybe what, 1/8, possibly. So you're looking at probably something like about 10%, maybe a 10% increase in cost. 10% increase in cost. No, actually, 9% increase in cost. Yeah, 9% increase in cost, give or take, for a 34% increase. Now, you tell me that's not value for money. If you can clearly tell me that's not value for money, please make your argument in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. Like if you're enjoying this video so far and you're finding it at least just that little bit informative. We all know I'm not very good at providing information. But anyway, so this one, yes, is cost effective. Now, if you really, really want to be greedy, you can go ahead and get the other chest as well. But as you see, I no longer have enough charged nanoprobes for it. And this is where the problem is. Because being a low level Tailos, am I going to get... Do I want both of these? Well, yes, now I can do 2 solos a day then. And that's going to boost how much credits I'm going to get in solo. It means I can push more. And then I can eventually just take some days. But then again, I got to a point where I ended up with 8 solos. But that's thanks to the Battle Pass. And I've got a few more coming up in the Battle Pass. So I'm not going to be too picky. But now, the Latinum refinery hasn't changed. So, sorry, that's still stuck at a tier 9 Vidar. Now, what has changed is your independent credits. As you can see, 10,000, but it's gone up massively. It has gone up. I had the Prime, which basically meant that I was getting double the original cost. I was getting 240 independent credits. And the original line for a tier 9 Vidar was 120. Now, 410. That, as far as I'm aware, does have the Prime on it from what I understand. I will put the charts up at the end of the show. You will be able to find them in my Discord as well. I have put them in there. I have a whole section dedicated to charts and loops and everything else. So if you was actually curious about all that, that is in my Discord. Go check it out and feel free to copy and paste it or screenshot it or even just download it onto your computer or your phone, whichever you use. But 410, yes, I'm having that. Thank you very much. That's going to be an extra 410 towards me upgrading Khan. Now, the next one added is this one. Is the Viculum parts you're going to get from defeating the expansion cubes. Again, I will touch on the expansion cubes. I should have done it before the refinery. But what is, you're going to get them, get these Viculums off the expansion cubes. You can bring them here, cash them in, and you're going to get basically an RNG chance at pretty much everything in this box. Now, as you can see, there is a 46 and a 53,000 for the charged nanoprobes. Woohoo! That is basically a 2 chest pull. Just a little drop on one side, a bit higher on the other, but not really that much. The active nanoprobes are exactly the same, but that's based around 1 chest, not 2. So just bear that in mind. It's probably cheaper just to go for the other chests, in all honesty. Also, you're going to get some officer shards as well. You've got Dozak and you've got the Queen. There's none of the other drone in here for some reason. But again, it's all RNG based. So what you're going to get, I do not know, because there's no eye telling you what you're actually going to get out of this chest. Again, as you can see as well, you got some directives. Woohoo! And across at the end there is an exocom for the Tailos. Yes, you have a chance for an exocom. There is 3 on this. But again, it's under RNG. Now, if they put it under guaranteed, I can make an argument for this chest. I really could. Doubling your loot is the only argument I can really say. When you're taking on those 36s and you're getting 8,000 a drop, 16,000 a drop, I can make an argument for that. You got three of them, which means you could do one day, and another day. It's 3 days worth of pulls. I think on the live stream I managed to do what was it, nearly 400, just under 400,000. So double that is 800,000. That's going to easily do the other chest for, that's going to do the charged chest for me. But that's as much of an argument I can make on this. Not a convincing argument. Is this chest worth it at that cost? No, it's not. I'm not going to lie, it's not worth it. So that's, I can't really make much of an argument for this chest. There's no argument for it really. It's crap. To be honest, it's perfectly crap. Now, before we explain the expansion cubes, as you can see as well, we've got the faction credits and we've also got some faction reputation. Again, they've also been boosted, and they've also taken the prime, which you can get in your research tree from the original Vidar, and it's also converting it into the Tailos as well. So again, giving you that boost. I mean, 210,000. Originally, it was 108,000 for me using the prime. So again, that was doubled. So this should be about 105. It's entirely up to you if you go for it. Me, I'm most likely going to say no when it comes to it, because like I say, you're going to need these charged nano probes for the couple of bits of research as well. But it's down to player's choice. I won't be getting, I mean, 840 credits, that's 240 more than the last with the tier 9 Vidar one. But that's the refinery. It is a good refinery, I'm not going to lie. It's definitely been one of the best improvements when it comes to the Tailos. Okay, so the expansion cubes, what you're going to find is you're going to find them adjoined to this nice little green section, which is the Borg space. Now, I'll put my discovery in there to actually open up the system, because they are tied under deep space, except for the level 35 ones, which you'll find in Romanian territory. But these are your expansion cubes. They are mean beasts, to put it mildly. But as you can see, they're going to pay out these vacuums. Now, looking at that, 623, that is pretty pathetic. However, you've got that research which boosted it by 5,000. Yes, 5,000 increase. So, obviously, I'll do the maths in editing, but I'll put it on the screen what the total is, just for this particular one. And so, yeah, are they worth it? No, not really. But the one thing is, they cost a pretty penny or two. Yes, they are going to cost you 500 of the new directives. And to be perfectly honest, how are you going to source them? Well, you source them through the original solo armadas. An uncommon armada will give you 5 directives. Yeah, you heard me right. 5 directives. You do the maths. That's 100 solos. 100 uncommon solos. Woohoo! But the rares actually do pay an increased amount. I can't remember the exact number for the rares, but I do know that the epics pay out 66. Yes, 66. So, yeah. So you're looking that you could potentially actually get, I'd probably say around about 100 directives for doing an uncommon, a rare, and an epic in the same run. But again, that's down to you, and obviously sourcing them is a pain in the arse anyway. Doing it on a single chest through the exchanges. You got a 2-day cooldown on the uncommon, you've got a 3-day cooldown on the rare, and you got a, well, you actually don't need to worry about the epic exchange because that's a 4-day cooldown, but there's no directives in it. But you need 2 uncommons to do 1 rare, so that's 4 days already. You need 6 rare chests to do an epic, because they only give you 200 epic directives a run. And on 3-day cooldowns, that's what, 6, that's 18 days. Yes, 18 days. Now, you times that You times that by the 4. Are you going to get a 1 rare every 4 days? But it takes you 18 pulls. You're looking at around 72 days, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's right. I think that'll be about right. But obviously there are other ways to source the directives, ideally like through the battle passes that we've been given. I mean, 72 days could be massively wrong. I'm not. The maths will be on the screen. The maths is on the screen. So just to say how long it'll take you to do 1 epic on these solo armadas. But are these expansion cubes really worth it? Not really. They've got a 15-minute timer on them. Did we actually see that? Yes, a 15-minute timer on them. As you can see, I do have 300 directives. I've already ran one of these 42s, and unfortunately, I didn't get a full fleet. No, and unfortunately, the other 2 guys that joined me that did have Talioses, unfortunately, they didn't have any directives to run solo armadas. So here is the process of being able to run one of these. You need to plan it out beforehand. So what you need to do is you need to find out who's got the Talioses and is prepared to join your fleet against one of these. I can have 6 players, so we'll base it on that. So 6, I need to find 5 other players to join me that's going to go up against one of these. We all need to run a solo armada. It doesn't matter which one it is, uncommon, rare or epic. Just run one of them. And then that's going to activate a buff which runs for an hour. It's called for knowledge. And it's going to give a 12% weapons damage increase to your Talios only. It's only affected on your Talios. So if you're going in with a fleet of ships and you've got your Talios waiting in dock, by all means you can do that. It will activate straight away from beating that solo armada. And even if it's like you sent your Talios against the solo armadas, I did that. It performed extremely badly against a level 41 solo, but yet my Valdor is smashing them like it is eating them for breakfast. But the Talios was underwhelming, so you could leave it in dock. You could, like I say, you could run an uncommon with the Valdor. I can then send the Valdor home, pick up the Talios, so change it over to the Talios. That buff's already working. It's already there. Send the Talios out. If I go in the details screen, I can see that the buff is actually there. For those of you not sure, obviously go into here, and across the top there where the 4 arrows is, that's where it will appear. The buff will be there, and then obviously it gives you a 12% boost to your weapons damage. Every single Talios that has this buff, it does stack, so you're looking at a total of 72% boost to weapons damage, and it does affect the Talios. And as far as I'm aware, by the sounds of it, it interacts with each other as well. So that can be a brilliant bonus. Now, that's the Talios. That's pretty much all there is to know about the Talios. The refinery is the best bit of this at the minute for a young Talios. It's going to be a while before I get to upgrade that. I mean, 70,000 for the railguns, and I'm only got, what, 9,000 left in the bank at the minute. Yeah. It's going to take a while for me to get this to tier 3. Now, what we're also going to do is we're going to show you the XComs working. Like I said, I've only got two transwarp cells, so we'll keep this brief. Right, so here's the target system that we're going to. So what I'm going now, I watched this off No One Shall's video. He chopped it from a live stream he did. You can stack these exocoms, and if we scroll down to the bottom, you can stack them. Now, I've only got rares uncommons, so basically I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to start an uncommon up in the top slot. I'm then going to go to the multi-purpose at the bottom. I then need to scroll all the way down because that's where they are. And then I'm going to start that one. Now, I'm now stacking 125 on top of the 250. So I'm giving myself a 375 boost. Now, I'm telling you now that I have Gallinar on the bottom of on my below deck, and I've also got 5 as captain, as you've seen. So that's an extra 50% bonus when it comes to the loot. So as a baseline then, I'm going to be looking at, for an 8,000 ship loot drop ship, I'm looking at around about what, 12,000 give or take. So here is my target. Oh, that's actually quite a healthy one, actually. How much is that one? I'll tell you what, we'll take the healthy one. Yeah, we'll take this one. So 50% on top of this one. We're looking close to 13,000. Somewhere around there. Now, if you bearing in mind that I've also got the XComs running, that should be a hell of a lot higher, because that should also times it by at least 3. So that should be around about 32,000, give or take. Well, there you go, 13,000. So that clearly shows you that that buff is not working. So what we're going to do is I am wasting the cells here. I'm not going to lie, because the next run is going to be the one where I'm going to really benefit. Because obviously we're sending the Tailos home. We'll have a quick look. So as you can see, I've still got 18 minutes on the timer and 13 minutes on that timer. So you will need to work around the timers. You can't, like I said, they are stacking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the Vidar in with the exact same crew. Yes, the exact same crew. So what I'm going to do is, well, when that thing docks, I'm going to quickly repair it, show you the crew that's on it, and then obviously bring out the big boy. Now, I will recommend, if you've got the transwarp cells to play with, do some experiments with your Vidar. I will highly recommend it. It might cost you a little bit in titanium, it might cost you a little bit in dilithium, and it will cost you your cells, no questions, but it's there. So as you can see, I've got my crew on. I've got Gallinar and Gorkin for the boost below decks, and then obviously I've got 4 of 11, which is increasing cargo size. Now I can put stun on there instead, so which means, yeah, I'd be losing that 200% synergy light, but yeah, we'll stick with 4 of 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap it over for the Vidar itself. Let's find it. There we go. Now again, I'm leaving the exact same officers. Got a lot of slots in, but I'm happy. My health is at maximum stats on this. My attack's at maximum health. My defense is just a little bit lower, but that's fine. I ain't gonna bother. I could stick more health on this one to help 5 of 11, but that could skew with my results just that little bit. Because what I want to do is show what happened when you put a Vidar in. Now, the exocoms are working. We're using the exact same crew, the same bonuses. So a little edit here just to cut the timer out, and we're going to get on with it. Okay, so the Vidar's arrived in the system. As you can see, I've selected a target ready. Again, I'm looking at a minimum 13,000 off just the 2 officers. So let's go in and do this. Again, that double nano probe thing for the Vidar, that research, that's not working. So as much as I said earlier in the video that it's working, yeah, it's not. Now this one is close to 9,000, so we are pretty much looking at around about 13, maybe 13,500. Obviously that thing will disappear. Now as well, I know what you're thinking. Why have I not put alarm below deck? Again, yes, it will boost my cargo, but it will also change my stats. I want my stats exactly the same. 55,000. 55,000, that one. That is the XComs clearly working, clearly stacked. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go and fill my cargo bay. Now, if you can get more cargo on your Vidar, I would highly recommend it. Now, did the attack just kick in on? Yes, it did. And then what we're going to do is we're going to quickly look at the time frame between the how long it's taken me to fill my cargo bay. Again, it's not exactly a high cargo. I'm approximately 4 ships right now, and I'm already at 200,000. When Noah Shah was showcasing this on his live stream, I was actually shocked. It's like, wow, I could literally waste I could burn through all 8. Oh, there we go. I've gone bang. I've already gone bang. Maybe I should let my shields regenerate first. But let's have a look at a couple of the battle logs. Now, you can see on these two, there's a 4-minute difference. So we know which one was clearly the Tailos, this one. And then obviously the Vidar started here. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 5 kills. 5 kills. And obviously we took this one out. And we ended with 252,000 in the cargo hold. Not very high. So again, I'd recommend get those health stats built underneath. But then again, it still took half the bloody damage on that thing. It is highly worth it. I mean, you might want to just do it with the 33s. To be perfectly honest with you, fill up your cargo bay, go in with the 33s. Actually, no. I would definitely say the 36s. And just burn through your things and you'll build up enough nanoprobes. Now, enough nanoprobes. Have I got enough to do the next charged nanoprobe pull? No, I haven't. And we'll go into here and I can't show much because obviously I've claimed the boxes. Dopey me. But anyway, that's that. Now, if you do have the crew, I would stick it on it. Try and build up your cargo base best as possible. Probably on the Vidar, use your lower deckers. Use your lower deckers. The original lower deckers, if you've got a Mariner, because I know she's a problematic one, Tindy, Sam, Bulmer, Badgie, use them all. I would highly recommend that. But anyway, that is that. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But there's not much else you can say. I've been Admiral Pegasus, and this has been the Tailos versus the Vidar. So, stay safe and live long and prosper. Good night.